Okay, let's go. So welcome back. We're Devoxx here with Tim Bray, who just gave a keynote, the Google keynote. And Tim, welcome. You insisted on the responsibility of developers to take care of their own users on the web, because the web is maybe not such a safe place after all. So what are their responsibilities?
Well, there's the obvious ones that they think about all the time, about having a good user experience and good performance and so on. But what I was really worried about today was more the security things, because, as I said, it's a dangerous place. The most basic security of all is, keep your users' private stuff private. And the most basic thing you can do to achieve that is to use HTTPS. HTTPS is there, it's available, it's off the shelf, it's free on the client, it's cheap on the server. I think basically people who don't use it are skating a little close to the edge.
Okay, so how about passwords? Is that something you want to say something?
So,
password management tools, should we be using them? Should people be storing somebody else's password? Is it a good business to be in?
Yeah, well, on your own passwords, I personally use a product called 1Password, of which there's many competitors. There's LastPass and KeePass and so on. And so I have two passwords in the world that I care about. My personal Google password and my 1Password password, and that's a good place to be in. And I recommend those tools, but they're kind of high-tech and kind of geeky, and I don't think non-geeks are really going to be wide adapters. And anyhow, typing a password in on a mobile device is a horrible experience. Nobody should ever have to do that. So I think, we should try and stop using passwords as much as possible. And to the extent you have to use passwords, I think ordinary application developers just shouldn't do that,
right,
because they're hard to manage and it's easy to make a mistake. And the penalty for making a mistake and leaking passwords is really very high. So if you can possibly avoid doing that, I think you should.
So security is hard. It's actually even boring, I would say. I mean,
yep,
other people think it's
exciting. Hard and
it's
boring.
It's boring. So where should people start? I mean, should they go back to school and learn math and cryptography?
Well, they should learn how to turn on HTTPS.
Okay. Well,
you can do that just by reading web pages. That's the first thing. In terms of actually managing people's identities, there are identity providers. You can go to Facebook, you can go to Google, you can go to Twitter, you can go to AOL, MicrosoftLive.com. There are a lot of people who will manage the task of doing passwords and authenticating people, and usually hooking them up is not so terribly difficult, and I totally recommend using those.
Okay, great. Well, anything you want to add and about what are the responsibilities for developers? Security is important. It's not an afterthought, obviously. HTTPS is
I would think that right at the moment, if you could do two things. If you turn on HTTPS and get out of the password business, you've gone 80% of the way there. Then you can start worrying about other things.
And you will be talking here, and people will catch you on parlays about...
Right.
You want to say maybe a word about
Nicholas
that?
Gagne and I will be doing a session on OAuth 2 and OpenID Connect and what developers can actually concretely do right now today in ordinary web apps, both JavaScript-heavy browser apps and standard backends like Rails and Django and Java to make things more secure.
Right. So if people are really interested in the technical side and the security side, OpenID, Connect, and OAuth 2 would be the two that people should look at.
Absolutely.
That's the ones we're investing in.
Those are the ones that Google is betting on anyhow.
Okay. Great.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.